Hey, what's up, world, to the CMJ world? That was corny. But in any case, welcome to the 44th edition of the Take One podcast. And last week, like I said on the podcast that I dropped earlier this morning, I got kind of tied up with like a whole bunch of stuff, so I didn't put out too much stuff last week, but I do have a lot of stuff that I'm going to be dropping this week, so just be on the lookout for that. Gosh, I need to really like silence a lot of stuff when I'm recording this. I know I can edit this out since it's going to be basically pre-recorded, but whatever the heck, I'll just let it go through because I'm lazy like that. And then like last week as well is that I didn't get to do a podcast doing the whole box office predictions, which that was basically what I was trying to do. Every week do a box office results and get my reaction to that, and then do a box office predictions. But instead of doing it on two separate ones, I'm going to do it on one, which is going to be at the beginning of the week. So more than likely you're going to get a podcast every Monday, or Take One podcast every Monday, if not Monday, every Tuesday, or if not Monday or Tuesday or whatever. It's going to be in between one of those, if not both. But in any case, within that podcast, I'm going to be doing my reaction to the results of the box office over the weekend, and I'm going to be giving my predictions for the upcoming weekend, just to kind of like, that way I can just kill two birds with one stone. But I got a couple things I need to talk about today, and this probably might go over 30 minutes, but I'm going to try and keep it as condensed as I can. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get into everything. So basically, I'm going to get into the box office results for this past weekend. Like I said, I didn't give my predictions, but I'm going to give you my reactions to it. So basically, the top five has gotten switched around. I ain't gonna say switched around, but just kind of like changed a little bit. It's not too high. The newer movie that dropped out this weekend was Flatliners, which, there's actually a couple new movies that dropped out, but none of them like really big noticeable entries within the box office. And so Kingsman took number one place again in the top five, and taking in about 16,935,000. And it came in not that far under it, with a 16 million as well, 902,000. And then we got American Made, which is the newer movie that came out this past weekend, which came in not that far underneath that, which basically debuted at 16,776,000. And then right after that, taking the number 4 space will be the Lego Ninjago movie, which took in 11 million. And then number 5 was Flatliners, debuting at number 5, which is one of the newer movies that came out this weekend, and it took in 6 million. This was kind of like a weird weekend because it wasn't really no big titles. I thought that American Made would have done maybe a little bit more, maybe took the number 2 spot, but it looks like it has legs, no pun intended, given the freaking miniseries. But in any case, it's like it has legs, and it looks like it's going to be number 1, at least until this weekend, which I'm going to get into a little bit later after that. But I thought American Made was going to go for the number 2 spot. I didn't think it was going to do number 1. Or, it could have done number 1. But it shows lately, within years, that star power, you can take the biggest name. It really don't matter, People are going to go see movies whether they look good. I mean, it's more about the trailers and how it looks and just if it's interesting or whatever. But yeah, this is kind of like a very close between 1, 2, and 3. So it literally could have been either one of those taking the number 1 spot or whatever, number 2 and all that stuff. But yeah, so Kingsman, it brings this worldwide total to 66 million. on $104 million budget, and that's kind of overwhelming. Like this, I don't know if it's opened in like a lot of international markets. Maybe they can make that money back with that, but as of right now, looking like we're more than likely not going to see a part 3. But I mean, we'll see. It did basically it brought its total to 290 million, and that's on a $35 million budget. So yeah, that definitely is gonna that's probably gonna get as many sequels as it can freaking do, as long as the next one is really good. Well, I say if it does, it's just as good as this one, if it's perceived as well as this first film was. American made $50 million budget, basically opens at 16 million. That's not really saying a lot. I don't know how it's gonna do in overseas marketing, if it's already out. As far as overseas marketing, I don't know if it's opened up in China or any other place, but I mean, I don't know. It doesn't look, the future doesn't look bright for this film. Lego Ninjago actually doesn't even have the budget on here, but guaranteed, it was a lot of money, but altogether it was a $35 million budget. And well, not budget, but box office. And Flatliners really was disappointing. I mean, it looks like it could possibly make its money back, given the international markets. Now, that's a major factor. I keep mentioning that because that's a major factor. It could factor in like a movie making back its money, and then some. So it brought in, like I said, 600 million, and it's on a budget of a $19 million movie, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. But I mean, that's underwhelming, especially to come in to debut at number 5. That's kind of like, that's really underwhelming. But I really haven't heard too many positive reviews for this movie, so I'm not really surprised. But yeah, I mean, this is like really close. This could have been anybody's game between 1, 2, and 3. So I mean, it is what it is. As far as my box office predictions for this upcoming weekend, really ain't no real big noticeable movies is coming out this weekend besides Blade Runner 2049, and I believe solely that movie is going to take the number 1 spot. So basically, my box office prediction is that everything is going to get bumped down 1. So I feel like Blade Runner 2049 is going to take the number 1 spot. I feel Kingsman is going to be number 2. It going to be number 3. American Made is going to be number 4. And Lego Ninjago is going to be bumped down to number 5. And I believe that's what it is, because the other movies that came out look like they're mostly independent type films. I don't think that they're going to basically hit the number 5. But I mean, who knows? I could be wrong. It could, underperform. But I mean, with the second weekend of Kingsman taking in 16 million, I don't think it's going to take in too much this coming weekend. So it's not going to be a hard thing to beat out, Kingsman. I can see if Kingsman brought in like 50 million, then I could be like, okay, yeah. But I mean, it's not even saying that like Blade Runner is going to take in 50 million. It could take in 30, 40 something million. But still, it's going to do better than the second week, or it's going to do better than this weekend for Kingsman on the third weekend. And I don't think Kingsman is going to have like a spike in people going to go see it, the third weekend, and just take the numbers way up there. But yeah, so that's my prediction. I feel like Blade Runner, everything's gonna get bumped down. So what was number 1 is gonna be number 2 gonna be number 3, and so on and so forth. And Blade Runner 2049 is going to take the number 1 spot. That's my prediction. That was actually really quick. I didn't have to do anything. I mean, shit. Not too many movies coming out this weekend. But also I wanted to talk about this thing that dropped not too long ago. Actually, like a few days ago, I want to say. Bradley Cooper for the Vince McMahon biopic Pandemonium. What is it called? Pandemonium. Pandemonium. I had that movie on my brain. I love the movie. I know a lot of people don't like it or whatever. I don't see it as a guilty pleasure. I like it, but we're not talking about Pandemonium. We're talking about Pandemonium, which is going to be the Vince McMahon biopic, which is going to be, of course, centered around Vince McMahon, but it's basically produced by WWE Studios. I don't know if any other companies are like involved with it, but more than likely it is. But yeah, so WWE Studios is eyeing Bradley Cooper to play Vince McMahon, and I don't know, when I heard that, I'm like, okay, you got an A-list star, or he's a good actor, so I can see, okay, yeah, maybe doing that. I like his acting that he played up in, what was that Jennifer Lawrence movie, Joy. I like his character up in there. So, I don't know, like, I kind of compare, like, when I hear the Vince McMahon biopic, that's what I kind of see. Because that essentially was a biopic of the woman who made the Swiffer, like, mop or something like that. I forgot what it was. But that's what I kind of got in mind when I hear this. And, I mean, I don't know, maybe he can knock it out of the park, but that's not the first person I would have thought to play Vince McMahon. I would have said, like, the first person, I forget, it was one person that came to mind that I thought that could play Vince McMahon. It's probably like a crap ton of actors, of course, unknown and whatever. But one of the first people, I forgot what the first person was, but the second person that came to mind was John Hamm. I'm not too familiar with his work. I'm not too familiar. Oh yeah, you know what? The other person was Armie Hammer. Now, I could just be throwing it out there, but that was just like the first person that came to mind, Armie Hammer. But, yeah, so John Hamm, I mean, he's older. You can have him, whatever. I mean, because, like, more than likely this is going to go through his whole life. So I'm just kind of thinking of, not even Vince McMahon as of now, but I'm trying to think of him just kind of older. I think John Hamm, maybe about in his late 30s or, early 40s or something of that nature. But that's who I kind of see. I guess if you want to go younger, you could probably do Armie Hammer. And then you can kind of like age him, with like, I ain't going to say prosthetics, but, just makeup and stuff like that. You make him look older. And John Hamm, I don't know, you could make him look younger, but I don't know. It's between those two. I mean, it could be more than likely I ain't gonna say more than likely, but there are a array of actors out there, guys that may look just like Vince McMahon. I don't know if they're going for that, or they're just going for like whoever fits the role perfectly, which that would be better suited, because you don't want to find somebody who looks like Vince McMahon and who can act like Vince McMahon, but when it comes down to carrying a movie and being a great actor within this film, it's like you don't want to find somebody that can just do the aspect, can do Vince McMahon really well and all this stuff, but still is a bad actor, because it's just whatever. If you can find somebody that looks like Vince, that acts like him, that can like literally imitate him to a T, and then is a great actor, that would be awesome. But I mean, they just need to go for somebody who can act the part well. That's all that they need to do. But I mean, those are just my picks. Those are the people that just come to mind. I'm not saying like, like John Hamm will be perfect to play Vince, or Armie Hammer will be perfect to play Vince, and blah 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 and all this stuff. I don't know this. These are just the people that popped up in my head. So don't take it as this is my definitive, whatever. I probably might watch a movie or something or a show and be like, oh my God, he can play Vince. Like, that might pop up in my brain. But as of right now, those are just the two names that literally, when I thought of this movie, when I thought of Bradley Cooper, I just thought of like Armie Hammer or John Hamm. It's just like those literally the two names that just popped up in my head. But as of right now, it's not confirmed that Bradley Cooper, like, they're just eyeing him. They want him to play him, but it's not confirmed that he is playing him. They just have him in talks. I ain't even want to say in talks, but that's who the person that they're looking at. And yeah, he hasn't accepted the role or anything like that. I don't even know if they really reached out to him, or if there has been talks behind the scenes of maybe possibly, they gave him some type of script. I don't even know if the script is done for it. But I mean, I I don't even know if there has been really even talks to Bradley Cooper on this subject. So, I mean, it is what it is. We'll find out more news as like the weeks come, or days or the weeks come, if they got him, or if they get, if he just kind of turned it down and now they're looking for somebody else. But I mean, it can go either way. I mean, whether or not Bradley Cooper plays it, I'm really interested in seeing this movie because this is something I love. As you guys know, if you listen to the podcast, I love wrestling. I dedicate one show of the Take One podcast a week to primarily wrestling. As of right now, it's just WWE, Raw and SmackDown. So, I'm kind of real interested in wanting to see this. I would love to see more biopics of other superstars like a Triple H or John Cena or a Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage. I mean, it's a lot of people that I would love to see biopics. But, Vince McMahon seems like he would be a perfect person to have a biopic done of him. It's just the one thing that I'm kind of like concerned about is that it is a lot that has gone on in his life, from just the ins and outs with his personal life as well as the business. So this movie is not going to be a short movie. It's not going to be a short movie. It's more than likely going to be 2.5 hours at the least, because you're going to have a lot of stuff to fit in here. Like I said in the podcast before, or the quick takes. There's a podcast before that I think a lot of biopics need to be at least thought of in a TV series type form. That way you can dive into a whole bunch of stuff throughout that person's life, especially if they lived a full life and had a lot of crazy good stuff, a lot of crazy bad stuff going on in their life. You'll have a lot of time to tackle certain things and all that stuff. And Vince McMahon is a figure, as a big household name, a known figure. I wouldn't even say damn near. He's kind of an icon, kind of. Because, without The Rock, without Vince McMahon, you wouldn't have The Rock. You wouldn't have John Cena. You wouldn't have Hulk Hogan. You wouldn't have these big names or Ric Flairs and stuff like that without Vince McMahon. So, in a sense, he is a household name. He is an icon. So, just do with it how you may or whatever. But, I don't know, it should be real interesting. I would love to see it. Of course, I'm going to go see it once it come out. Hopefully it is good. Hopefully it is good. But I would rather see this as like a Netflix series or just a HBO series or, Showtime or something like that. That way they can tackle more as the season progresses, if the seasons are good. But, who knows? It probably might be a really awesome movie. But, it is whatever. Whether or not they pick Bradley Cooper. But in any case, moving on to the last thing that I'm going to be talking about for this episode of the Take One podcast, I actually got through this stuff really quick. I wasn't taking long pauses like I usually do, so I'm kind of on my A game. I'm a little bit woke, so I guess that plays a major factor. But in any case, so James Cameron had came out like a few days ago, talking about a new Terminator movie that he's going to be a part of, which I'm going to get a little bit into him and the whole Terminator thing or whatever. But basically, essentially what he's saying is that it's going to be, right now it's Terminator 6. He has plans on doing it. And so in doing this, it's going to essentially wipe away Terminator 3, Salvation, Genesis, and I believe that's all of them. Yeah, because it's 6, so that would be 5. So it's going to do away with all of them. And he's essentially looking at it as like all of those 3 movies are just bad dreams, that they didn't happen, that it's going to be wiped away, and the story is going to continue from T2, Judgment Day, which is a lot of people's favorite movies. Well, a lot of people's favorite movie, or just whatever. And it's like I can dig that. I really did like Terminator 3. A lot of these movies I have to revisit because you guys, like, I started this YouTube channel like about 2 years ago, a little bit over 2 years ago, I believe. Yeah, back in, I think it was 2015, I believe. Gosh. It's been a minute. I think it's about like in 2015. Yes, 2015. So I started this YouTube channel in 2015. So it's been a little bit over 2 years, and so I really just kind of relatively recently, got into kind of like analyzing film and certain things, shows and stuff like that, to kind of like critique it in the way that I critique it now. So looking at Terminator Genesis and Salvation and well, I ain't gonna say like well, hold on, did I say Genesis already? No, I mean Terminator 3, Terminator Salvation. Terminator Genesis, I got a review for that on my channel. It was one of my earlier reviews. I think I did that. Yeah, that was one of my earlier reviews. So I was kind of getting into the analyzation as a critic, I guess you could say, a reviewer around that time. But those two, actually, all the other ones, I actually was just watching them as a movie fan, you know. And I think I saw part 3 like 3 times in the theaters. I believe so. I forget. I know one I saw, I want to say with my father. And then I saw one, I saw it again with my brother, I believe. And then I went again, because like my best friend Keelan, he came with me. So I think, I'm fuzzy with it, but I know I went with my friend Keelan. And I think my brother was there too as well. I think my brother saw it twice, but I don't know. I have a bunch of movie stubs, but some of them just kind of like, you know, faded out. But in any case, I saw it like 3 times in the theaters. And it's like, I kind of look at it through a fan's eye. You know, through fans' eyes. You know, I kind of looked at it through that. I didn't look at it through analyzing it. So, I don't know. I may go back and rewatch it and just see if it is as bad as everybody want to say. And, I don't know. I like Salvation. I'm going to revisit that as well. I can see what other people are saying about it with the whole review. I mean, this movie is out, so I mean, if you haven't seen it, then obviously you ain't trying to see it anytime soon. But you know, and plus, if they end up doing this one, they're gonna do away with that anyway. So I guess it don't even matter. But it's like in the trailer, they show that the main character is a robot. You know, is one of the machines that he was sent to infiltrate John Connor. There we go. I'm about to say John Carter. That's a totally different movie. But yeah, and so they showed that in the trailer, as well as Terminator Genesis. They showed that wow, I'm messing up. I just went full-fledged with it. But they showed that John Connor is a Terminator. And it's just, you know, it's just, I can see people's like gripe with that. But, you know, maybe I'll just go revisit it with new analyzing eyes, and I can maybe pick out whatever, and maybe even still like it. I don't know. But in any case, I'm kind of getting off track. Just a little bit. But yeah, so, like I said, they're going to be viewed as just like bad dreams. So they're going to just do away with it, and that's going to be it. As well as Arnold Schwarzenegger and Linda Hamilton is going to be returning. And like I said, it's going to take place right after T2. So, I mean, that's cool. But the thing is, like, what I've read is that it doesn't really talk too much about John Connor. And it's like, why? I don't know. Like, is he in this movie? Because they're talking about Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger is coming back. Okay, essentially. And then it's going to focus on bringing in a new female lead that's going to be like a passing of the torch thing happening within this movie. And it's like, okay, you got a new female lead and it's passing the torch, but the movie, essentially, the story revolves around John Connor, because he leads the revolution against the machines, and that's the reason why the machines go back in time to try and kill John Connor before he is born or whatever. That way he won't start this revolution. So it's like, where is John Connor? Like, what happened to him? Who's going to be playing him? And, you know, and this is going to take place in the future, of course, because Linda Hamilton is not, you know, a spring chicken anymore. She's not the age that she was. I don't even think she was real young as far as like T2, because she looked a bit older in T2. But in any case, I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do with this movie. I don't know if they're going to go, you know, I don't know where they're going to go with this, because the first one was more of like a horror film. The second one was just an action film. And then this one is like, are they gonna go the route of T2? Are they gonna blend the two, make it somewhat of a horror film, but kind of make it a action film as well, or just kind of like an action film with hints of horror? I don't know, with horror elements and stuff. I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but I'm interested in seeing where this goes. But one thing that I had said before, and I'm gonna get to this quick because I want to end this podcast soon, was that James Cameron is behind this, and from what I remember is that he fully backed Genesis, but yet he's talking about this movie is going to do away with Rise of the Machines, Salvation, and Genesis. Okay, if you was that behind Genesis and talking about how good it was, but yet you want to do away with it, like, obviously that means that you didn't think it was good. So, I mean, it's whatever. Just a thought. And then on top of that, it's like, this guy literally, I believe, just started shooting relatively recently, I think of this year, the new Avatar movies. And he got like about 15 of them that he's doing, and he's going to be booked up to like 2021 or something like that, 2022. They're going to be shooting this for years. And so it's like, how is he going to have time to do this? So, I mean, he's basically as a producer. He's not as a director. He's going to be directing the Avatar film. So it's like, how much pull or how much hands-on, is he going to be with this new Terminator film if it ever gets made, if they ever go forward with it? So I don't know. It's interesting to see. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that I'm going to wait. Like, I can't wait till this come out. I'm waiting to see what more news is going to come out about this. Is this real serious? Are they really talking about making this movie? Is it going to get made? Has the script been written? If it's written, when is it going to go in production? Is it going in production? Okay. When can we expect it? Is it going to have a release date? And then once we find out all that, then it's going to be like, okay, this movie is definitely happening. But I don't think James Cameron is going to have, I mean, he probably might have thoughts on like the story and where to take certain stuff, but I think he's not going to be at like a 50% as far as doing, as basically just like having like hands-on, with this movie as it's being made. I think he's going to be like, okay, this is where I want the story to go, and work with somebody, and then be like, okay, you take over it. I'm about to go over here and handle Avatar. And I think that's basically what it's going to be it. So I don't know if he's going to, I doubt if he's going to be really involved in this project. He make it seem like he's going to be involved in it like that, but I don't think he is. And it's kind of suspicious how he was talking all that stuff about Wonder Woman and how she was sexualized, and he compared her to not being as basically compared her to like Sarah Connor, and now he wants to bring back Linda Carter and do a revamp of Terminator. So I don't know, it just seemed really suspicious, but whatever. But in any case, that will end this episode, the 44th episode of the Take One podcast. I'd like to thank you guys for listening. Matter of fact, I'd love to thank you guys for listening, for just talking about what I wanted to talk about. And I hope you guys come back. Hit that like ups button. I keep messing that up. Hit that thumbs up button and hit subscribe. Like, I can't like stress that enough. Just hit subscribe. I just rebranded my channel, so I'm gonna have a whole bunch of other new things happening for my channel. So keep on the lookout for that. Yeah, hit the notification. That way you'll be notified for anything that pop up on my channel. Everything else is in the description below. And I believe that's it until episode 45 of the Take One podcast. I will catch you guys later. Peace.